Good morning, good people, fellow humans. And we spell that Huemonds, colorful nuts, right? Because that's what we are, and that's okay. See, my name is Edward Bevilacqua. This is the Department of Career Services G.school, where today we focus on the fourth, but most important part, gift, maybe you could call it a gift, aspect, the most important part, the spiritual side. G.school is what we call it. So we focus on that today, whereas during the week we focused on physical, mental, emotional, and today it's the spiritual. Today and tomorrow it's the spiritual. On the Sabbath, it's the spiritual, and then the Lord's Day, it is the spiritual. Today we are going to be talking about what did Jesus say, and we're going to be almost finishing up day 6, week 3 of our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Yeah, okay, so that's what's going on, and it is December 20th. Wow, this month is almost over. Now you see I got a little nick there. Not nick. I was moving a fallen eucalyptus branch. And something snapped off and whacked me right across here. I would cut inside my lip too. It's a good thing I have a Teflon exoskeleton. Anyway, good morning. Always happy, always good to be here. Every morning, part of my brain now is focusing on the show that starts in the first week of January. Send out a bunch of invites and got a bunch of responses back, people choosing to be on the show. So that's kind of cool, right? Yes. And there we go. So let's get started. What is the advice from an 80-year-old? Today's advice from an 80-year-old. Loosen up, relax. Except for rare life and death matters, nothing is as important as it seems. Let's think about that for a second. Nothing is as important as it seems. True. Because if you look at it from this perspective, especially item number 28, no, there is no item 28 in here, but if you look at it from a perspective of time, our life is so short, eternity is so long, and nothing that happens to us from the perspective of eternity, nothing that happens here, not one little instant thing that happens here is as important as it seems. For us, if you're looking at things over an 80-year lifespan, and then you condense it down to right now, yeah, but what's going on right now? It could be a matter of life and death. Maybe it is a matter of life and death, but in the big scheme of things, in the eternal scheme of things, if you're on the right path, right, and you shed this mortal coil, guess what? Freedom. Keep on going. If you're on the wrong path, and that's the path you're going to continue on, and you shed this mortal coil, doesn't really matter. You're just going to keep going the way you started. So, okay, so anyway, that's where we is at. Let's see. Got anything over here? Over here? No, all looks good. Okay. Sorry about that. We'll cut that. We'll take that out in editing, right? Okay, good. Okay, advice from an 80-year-old. We got that done. How about Seth Godin? Seth Godin, use your best judgment. Extraordinary organizations have this as their employees. Extraordinary organizations have this as their employee handbook. Resilient ones, human ones that can thrive in the face of automation and AI. Organizations that are built on customer service, hospitality, and flexibility. Okay, so I guess use your best judgment is the employee handbook. Of course, this means you'll need to treat your team with respect and offer them training and dignity. It means you won't be able to simply write down every single step in the manual or work as fast as you can to replace people with uncaring software. The partner of UYBJ is Y. I don't know what UYBJ is. Is Y. If someone asks a team member why they're doing something, it's not useful to train them to repeat the policy. The puppetry of I'm just doing my job is the opposite of UYBJ. Oh, use your best judgment. Okay. Oops. Okay, let's go back. The partner of use your best judgment is Y. If someone asks a team member why they're doing something, it's not useful to train them to repeat the policy. The puppetry of I'm just doing my job is the opposite of use your best judgment. And that means because I said so, while convenient, might not be the best management style. When a customer asks, why is it like this? The professional can answer honestly and with conviction. That's what it means to use your best judgment. If you have a job where use your best judgment doesn't apply, it's worth recognizing that every day you spend there is one where you've wasted a chance to learn something new and take responsibility for what's next. Upskilling is the path forward. Aha. Use your best judgment. Right. What's the problem with that? What is the problem with use your best judgment? That is like I think it was Aristotle, let your conscience be your guide. The problem is if you don't have a good conscience, right? Right. Use your best judgment is not good if you don't have good judgment. Where do we learn good judgment? It should start in the house, with the family. Right, but what if you don't have a house, a family? Where do you learn it? It used to be television, where at least there were strict standards. Now it's probably on YouTube, maybe even TikTok, where people learn what judgment is. They learn social behavior. They get socialized. Right. So use your best judgment is a problem if what? You don't know how to use good judgment. Okay, so we don't have the family. How about the schools? That's supposed to be the second place. Well, if you have people in school who are not trained on good judgment, they're going to pass that along. So it's a problem. Okay, but we should strive to use our best judgment, and that means we need to learn. That goes back to the 3 stages of life: learning, earning, and then yearning, right? Most people shortcut the learning. They then move on as quickly as they can to earning because they think that'll solve all their problems, whereas learning actually would, including using your best judgment. to go to the earning stage, and then they get whacked hard with yearning. Whereas the richest guy in the world, now once again, Elon Musk, over $650 billion. $650 billion. That's doubled in the last few years. He's going to hit $1 trillion well before 2030. Well before that. Probably could very well be in the next 2 years. Be a trillionaire, the world's first trillionaire. In fact, he has now outpaced number 2 and number 3 combined. So 2 plus 3, 2 is one of the guys from Google, and 3 is Larry Ellison. I think 4 is Bezos, and 5 is the other guy from Google. So 1, Elon Musk's net worth is greater than number 2. I don't know if it's Brin or Page, plus Larry Ellison. 1 is greater than 1 plus 2 plus 3. The Google guys, if they were combined, that's number 2 plus 5, they would be, a strong number 2, but they would still be behind. So that shows you the founders of Google do not equal Tesla, SpaceX, the Boring Company, the non-flamethrower, this is not a flamethrower, Tesla, Grok, etc. X, they don't equal that. So, yeah. Day 6, week 3, outside my school-sized kingdom. Jerry Maguire trying to do what we have been taught that you're supposed to do, right? Find part of the status quo to change, tell a compelling story, connect the true believers, and lead them. So what happens here? Jerry just got fired. So this is the who's coming with me speech. He's trying to tell a compelling story. But instead of starting with why we need to change the status quo, which was his memo that he wrote, his mission statement, instead of talking about the mission statement, he dove into fish have manners. Manners. I helped build this. I'm starting my own company and the fish are coming with me. Not compelling, because he wasn't talking about why. He was talking about the unjustness of things, and the company is unjust, and I'm starting my own company, but the fish are coming with me. And he looked a little bit scary. Right. But he did go. So step 1, find part of the status quo to change. He did in his mission statement, his memo. The boss, the jackbooted boss got rid of him, right? He's a threat to the status quo. He wanted to change the status quo. He's the threat to the status quo. He's got to go. He goes. That moment in time when Seth Godin says, now you need to tell a compelling story, he bobbled it. He bumbled it. He dropped it. Whoa, oops. But he then went to step 3. Who's coming with me? Trying to connect the true believers. And what happened? One person, Dorothy Boyd in accounting, said, I will go with you, because she remembered how she felt when she read the mission statement. And she brought that up later in the movie. It wasn't the compelling story that got her to go, that almost got her not to go. She was afraid of going. And her workers told her, don't go, don't do it. But she did it because of the initial vision statement, the little thing he passed out. And then she said, now? And he said, yeah, now, let's go. Don't worry, it'll be okay. And what? Then they left. So he did 3 of the 4 steps right. But if you don't do them all right, it's not going to be good. Okay, tomorrow we're going to look at show me. No, we're going to look at help me help you. Same thing. So we're going to look at people not following the script. Yesterday, Friday, we saw Derek Sivers, and he showed you how to do it. I'm part of it with the people watching the concert. We didn't talk about it, but if you watched it, we don't have time to talk about it. Okay, because time is racing. Right. All right, let's get into this. Okay, first of all, G.school, our disclaimer, G.school is not for people who are saved. So if you are saved, if you believe upon your death, you are going to be with Jesus. And immediately after that, it's going to be, hey, bro, hey, bra, what up, dog? If you think it's going to be that good, great. This is not for you, but you are always welcome. Everyone is invited, but it's not designed for you. This is for the person who, if you ask the question, what happens when you die? The answer is, I don't know, nothing. I'm a good person, so I'm going to heaven. This is for the person who is not in that state of mind. This book is this G.school, and this book is for that person. This is not for the person who is saved. This is for the person who is not saved. So we have 10 proof copies. We're giving them to people who are saved or who are spiritually heading down the path. Let's say they all believe we have a transcendent soul and they are all Christians. Some are pastors. One is a deacon. One is a priest. Well, 2, 3. 3 will be priests. And it is to do a couple things, not whether it's biblically sound. Because the one thing this is it is absolutely biblically sound. There's nothing that is not biblically sound in here. And maybe that's what our topic is. Okay, so this makes very clear. This is about who? Jesus say. What did Jesus say? This isn't about what does the Bible say. If you try to do a thing, what does the Bible say? It's going to be like a plate of spaghetti. You're going to have lots of noodles and they're going to be intertwined and it's not going to be clear. So this book for non-Christians is just focusing on Jesus. What did he say? And I will tell you it is bulletproof from what did Jesus say. And a lot of pages back here. There's bibliography, 25 pages of bibliography and scriptural citations. 25 pages of that. So this is biblically solid, rock solid from a gospel's perspective, from what did Jesus say. And in volume 2, I'm going to argue you don't need the rest of the Bible. The rest of the Bible should support the Gospels. They should support what Jesus said, because Jesus is the fulfillment for biblical people who are Old Testament people. Jesus is the fulfillment of the Old Testament. So the Old Testament should just be viewed from the perspective of Jesus, not as a standalone thing. Okay? Again, the only point I want to make is from the perspective of what did Jesus say. This is rock solid, bulletproof there. And why do we just focus on that? Because we also develop the point that Jesus is God. He is the creator incarnate. Jesus overcame death. That's kind of the proof of what he said is true. And for Christians, if there was no resurrection, there is no Christianity, because you can't say that Jesus is God if he died on the cross. He had to be resurrected. That is the ultimate proof that's in the pudding. And for our purposes, again, rock solid gospels, Jesus did not say he came as an atonement to pay a price for the sins of everybody, past, present, and future. He came to help transform people to the kingdom of heaven. To get people to get the kingdom of heaven is here. Repent and believe in the good news. And lastly, because time is racing, we're out of time, and he was very clear. Many people are going to say, Lord, Lord, we did all of these things in your name. We prophesied in your name. We performed miracles. We did all of these things in your name. And he will say what? Get away from me. I never knew you. He will say to other people, you did these things. You gave food to the hungry, drink to the thirsty. You gave clothing to the unclothed. You helped the sick. You helped the unhoused. You visited people in prison. And they said, when? When did we do that? You did it when you visited me. You gave me, when you did he said, when did we do that? He said, when you did it for the least of my people, you did it for me. So these are people who are helping people, not even knowing, and they were doing the right thing. The people, on the other hand, who didn't do that, and they too said, well, when did we not give you those things? When did we not? We never saw you hungry or thirsty. Well, what are you talking about? And he said, yeah, because you didn't do it to the least. You didn't do it to me. So the people who thought they were righteous, no. So two really specific things. And if you love me, you will keep my commandments. My commandments, love God, love one another, and make disciples. So if Jesus is God and Jesus says do these things and you're not doing these things, you might want to rethink it. You might want to rethink it. Okay, now what? All right, we're going to call it quits. So my apologies for going over. We'll work on that for tomorrow. Bonk.